human rights. Can you explain to the American people how the United States can be so allied with a country that is known for treating its people so poorly, for using censorship and force to oppress its people? Do you have any confidence that as a result of this visit that will change? And if I may, on an unrelated topic, I'd like to know what you make of the speculation that the gentleman in front of me, Ambassador Huntsman, might run against you in 2012. And President Hu, I'd like to give you a chance to respond to this issue of human rights. How do you justify China's record, and do you think that's any of the business of the American people?
Well, first of all, let me just say, I think Ambassador Huntsman has done an outstanding job as ambassador for the United States to China. He is a Mandarin speaker. He has brought enormous skill, dedication, and talent to the job. And, you know, the fact that he comes from a different party, I think, is a strength, not a weakness, because it indicates the degree to which both he and I believe that partisanship ends at the water's edge, and that we work together to advocate on behalf of our country. So I couldn't be happier with the ambassador's service, and I'm sure he will be very successful in whatever endeavors he chooses in the future. And I'm sure that him having worked so well with me will be a great asset in any Republican primary. Let me address the other issue, and a very serious issue. China has a different political system than we do. China's at a different stage of development than we are. We come from very different cultures and with very different histories. But as I've said before, and I repeat it to President Hu, we have some core views as Americans about the universality of certain rights: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, that we think are very important and that transcend cultures. I have been very candid with President Hu about these issues. Occasionally they are a source of tension between our two governments. But what I've believed is the same thing that I think 7 previous presidents have believed, which is that we can engage and discuss these issues in a frank and candid way, focus on those areas where we agree, while acknowledging there are going to be areas where we disagree. And I want to suggest that there has been an evolution in China over the last 30 years since the first normalization of relations between the United States and China. And my expectation is that 30 years from now, we will have seen further evolution and further change. And so what my approach will continue to be is to celebrate the incredible accomplishments of the Chinese people, their extraordinary civilization, the multiple areas in which we have to cooperate, not only for the sakes of our countries, but also for the sakes of the world, to acknowledge that we're going to have certain differences, and to be honest, as I think any partner needs to be honest when it comes to how we view many of these issues. And so that frank and candid assessment on our part will continue, but that doesn't prevent us from cooperating in these other critical areas.
Translating the question back into Chinese. 另外一个问题就是有人猜测洪国培和泽曼大使将来的这个政治前景是怎么样的。那么胡主席关于刚才提的人权问题，您是怎么回答的？总统刚才回答说，韩泽伦大使他是讲中国普通话，他是能够很胜任他的工作呢。他是属于另外一个政党，但是我认为这还是一支力量，不是一个弱点，而且将来他未来的选择，我想他的前景是很好的。他当大使的时间就服务的非常好，所以我想在未来的时候，也包括在共和党的初选的时候。
All right, what's happening right now is that the question put to both President Obama and President Hu by the AP reporter is now being translated into Chinese for President Hu to answer. The question referred to alleged civil rights and human rights violations in China, and President Hu is listening to that question now and will answer it obviously in Chinese, and then we will listen to the translation.
接受自由，宗教自由都是十分重要的，而且他们超越文化上的一些差别。所以我就这些问题同胡主席进行了非常坦诚的交谈。我知道有的时候这些因素会成为两国政府间的紧张因素。但是我还是认为我们能够本着非常坦诚的态度，就这些问题进行很有建设性的交往。就像7届美国总统一直认为也是一样的。
What is also happening is not only has the question been translated into Chinese, but I believe the interpreter is also translating into Chinese President Obama's answer to that question so that President Hu can not only address the reporter's question, but also President Obama's response to it.
继续不断的变化，所以我还是认为，我想把我的注意力放在庆祝中国人民所获得的伟大的成果，他的这个优秀的文明，在很多领域，我们还是必须要进行合作，不仅仅是为两个国家，也是为了全世界。当然，我认识到还是有的时候会存在一些分歧，不过呢，我们应该很诚实的讨论很多我们一些不同关心的问题。
While we wait for President Hu to finish listening to that translation, Robert Shapiro joins us. He's one of our panelists. What you've heard so far from the President's address, Mr. Shapiro, and also Mr. Hu's opening comments, what's your reaction?
I would have broken up the
Go ahead, Mr. Shapiro.
Well, I think that what you really see is this is two very powerful figures from the world's two most powerful nations taking a measure of each other and figuring out how to live together. I think the Chinese really have achieved what is probably their most important goal, which is to be treated as a genuine equal.
With CCTV, we know that there is an old saying in China that a good relationship between the two peoples holds the key to a sound relationship between states.
长期健康稳定发展的根本。那么，我想问胡主席，您认为中美两国政府应该如何进一步促进两国人民之间的了解和友谊？同时呢，我们也注意到，美方曾表示乐见一个强大繁荣的中国。请问奥巴马总统，在您内心深处，是否可以？
Scott Paul is also with us, I believe. And Scott, if you are indeed with us as we wait for this translation, we heard both leaders talk about what they feel has been achieved in this particular summit. How will you